I sleep with earplugs and a sound machine.
Okay.
Since college.
Okay.
Every night there are earplugs and sound machine on.
Mm-hmm.
He was railing lines so loud, I could hear it. I could hear him railing a line through the earplug and the sound machine on high. That is a man.
That's a Hoover.
Welcome to Brief Recess. I'm Michael Foote.
I'm Mélissa Malebranche.
Today we're going to talk about how I'm a type A traveler, all of our neighbor tea, our paper thin walls in our apartment, Melissa's saga of Ted, Lois, and Eleanor, to my neighbor Chris snorting lines like a Hoover, that time I saw Susan Sarandon at the Rocky Horror Picture Show and didn't know she was in the movie, the infamous El Salvadoran prison CECOT. We're going to cover that extensively in the Bari Weiss drama, the 60-minute segment, and all the tales from the DMs. So stick around.
Somebody was like worried about how jaundiced I was.
Someone did think you had jaundice in the comments. Yeah. People have, even before I was doing the internet and this show, people have always felt like they could say whatever the fuck they wanted right to my face.
So this is a long time ago. I was leaving Haiti, coming back home to New York, right? It was my old passport picture before I had lost weight, right?
Okay.
And the guy looked at it, he looked at me, he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he says to me in French, he was like, "Madam, you've changed quite a lot." And I said, "Oh, yes, I have."
Yeah.
And then he said, "Because you were really fat, you used to probably eat a whole lot." And you know what's really funny about that is that, like, it was such a Haitian guy thing to say that I wasn't even mad. I thought it was really fucking funny.
It is so insane. It is actually very funny.
It was so funny. And it's just the way that he was just like,
damn.
And he was like, "Madame, vous avez changé."
Vous avez changé.
The best thing about it was, like, he spoke to me in French first, just like the proper way.
Okay.
And then when I was like, "Oh, yes, I have." And then he switched to Creole, which is more like familiar.
Casual.
And he was just like, "Parce que t'es gros en pile, madame, t'es mangé en pile." I was just like, it was just funny. It was actually really funny.
You've told me most of your, like, hilarious Haiti stories are around the airport or the plane ride.
Yeah.
Like, it's rarely in Haiti. It's always going to or from.
Because the thing about, I think anytime you're going anywhere on an airplane or an airport, it's like the subway, right? Everybody in New York takes a subway. Everybody takes a plane someplace,
it's the
right?
Intersection of all cultures.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, your race, none of it matters because you're all, like, stuck in the same place. And, like, people say, like, and I think travel makes a lot of people anxious.
Yeah.
And then they're just wild and they say whatever.
And they're wild and they physically are restrained, kind of, like, you can't move around a lot.
No, you can't.
And it's bringing out the worst in people.
I know.
The plane travel is bringing out the worst in people.
You're anxious to travel, aren't you?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
I used to be really nervous to travel.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to escape my life so much that I love getting on a plane. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Really?
This is great. I can't wait to get on that plane.
Who do you think is a better traveler, you or Brad?
It depends on how we're defining better.
More calm, less anxious.
Okay. So in my life, and you know what? I have an answer for you.
Okay. Thank you.
In my life, I am the person who plans and organizes everything.
Okay.
And I know you are too.
Okay.
And I know a lot of our listeners are too. There's always the person in the couple. Brad shows up to the airport. He doesn't know where his ticket is. He doesn't sometimes know what airline we're flying. I do it all.
Okay.
I get it all organized. It's the night before and he's packing. I've been packed for a week.
Okay.
And we're pulling up to the airport and he's like, "Oh, we're flying American?" Yo, yeah. And I picked out your meal too. Like, I am that one.
Yeah.
I'm the one. So to say, oh, who's, like, better at travel? I'm better at it. I'm more organized. We would not be on the plane if he were in charge.
But it sounds like he's more at ease because you've taken care of everything, right? So he's just like, okay.
I've set up this dynamic.
Yeah.
And I will say, if he ever tried to take control of organizing the flights, it would be an absolute riot.
Okay.
There would be blood in the streets.
Oh, dear.
It would be, and no one will ever take that away from me.
Okay.
That is, I have to have that control. Even when I book a gig and they're like, oh, preferred airline, whatever I say, I'll send you the receipt. I'm handling it all. I'm a control freak like that. I don't want someone getting involved in that way. I can never have someone helping with that stuff.
Interestingly enough, when we go places, Andre is the one who looks up all the stuff and does what he does because he knows that I'll just spend $1 million on stupid shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just be like, you know what? Here, it's just. I remember one time we were going.
Put it on the card.
Yeah, I was like, we were going somewhere. And I was just like, so we just say like, fuck it and do whatever? He was like, no, we cannot.
Yeah.
He was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So that's why he does it, because he's very concerned about how much we're going to pay for things. I mean, and he's right, right? But like, sometimes I am willing to pay for things so that I don't have to think about it.
And also, there is a convenience sometimes where the money is actually worth it if you have it.
Yes.
We were in Norway. And we were going dog sledding in the middle of nowhere. It was like up on a mountain.
How was that?
It was so fun. It was like one of the coolest, most memorable experiences.
Do you think the dogs are happy?
Thrilled.
Okay.
And now whenever I see a husky in New York, I'm like, oh God, I've seen what you should be doing.
Gotcha.
And it's not Madison Square Park.
Yeah.
It's running through the woods in the snow.
I follow somebody on, I think, TikTok, and she has 4 huskies. And they make an unholy noise when they get to, and each one eggs on the other one.
They howl.
But it's not just like a howl. It's like a cry for help. Like it's like, like it's really, really crazy. No, it is. And I think I couldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's like the screaming, especially in an apartment. Yeah.
The screaming would drive me crazy. And it also makes me feel like maybe they shouldn't be in the house. Like maybe this is the kind of dog that needs to be outside playing outside.
People will call and complain and say, oh, I saw this dog sleeping outside in the snow. And then the owners will film videos and be like, yeah, they're trying to call the dog in. The dog doesn't want to come.
No, the dog
doesn't want to come. He wants to sleep outside in the snow.
But
we had to take a train to Lillehammer. And then it was like, you could either take the bus for 3 hours to get there, or it was a 20-minute cab ride.
Oh. I mean, okay.
And in moments like that, it's like, we're going to spend the 50 kroner, whatever it was, to do that if you can. So in situations like that, the dollar spent on the convenience it evens out. This is Sidebar. Mélissa, didn't you miss a flight? One time you told me about this a while ago.
I did indeed. I know we've talked about this before, but like one of the few times that I've missed a flight was because of Andre.
Really?
We were in London. And that's the thing about travel, right? Is that I am anxious in the sense of I'm afraid to miss a flight. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I am, you know, like the rest of my people, like I get to the airport too.
She's Haitian.
Yes. Right. And I remember looking at the clock and the time, and I was just like, maybe we should go. Maybe can we go? And he was like, no, it's fine. We got this. Let's take another stroll around the Thames.
Don't be so anxious.
And then I remember, and I have a picture of this, I'll share it with you, where I took a picture of Andre looking at his phone. And I was like, this is when I knew we were not going to make it.
The moment I knew.
We were not going to make it.
Where were you?
And
you found out.
And I was looking at him and I was just like, we're not going to make it, are we? And he's like, no. But we have to hurry up though. And I was like, okay. And we get to the airport.
Oh no.
And the plane hadn't left yet, but they had stopped boarding.
Oh no.
And we had to spend the night.
That's the worst.
And we spent the night at the airport.
There wasn't just like another flight?
No.
Oh.
We had to wait till the next day. And we spent the night at like this airport hotel, but it was like the room it wasn't this big. It's for exactly that.
It's for the person who missed their flight.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it was the bathroom was like a wet room. Like it was just.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, me too.
I hate that when the shower and the toilet and the sink are all connected to the same water line.
Yes.
And it's like just one cord.
I mean, this was the smallest hotel room I have ever been in my life. And at that point, we just started drinking.
Yeah. You've got to hit the hooch.
Yep.
The airport bar, the drinks are so expensive.
They're very expensive.
Because they know they have
you. And we were hitting it hard.
And I will say, I've traveled with people who like to drink no matter what time of day they're traveling. 8 a.m. vodka sodas. Yeah. I've witnessed that.
Have you ever done that?
No.
No? Oh, I have.
I don't need to drink to get on a plane.
I don't need to drink. I can't remember where Andre and I were going, and he had a little bit of like a hissy fit at the airport, right? A little bit. And it made me...
Need a drink?
Yeah. And I was just like, and I put it on TikTok, actually. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And I have had to leave my husband, and I'm walking around the airport.
He's in Hudson News melting down.
He's somewhere. Because I can't be with him right now. We were going to Jamaica. Okay. And I was just like, is it too late to start drinking?
No.
And the comments were, no, it is not.
Hit the bottle. Hit it.
And I did.
Yeah. I've fallen sucker to the duty-free shop too. I've spent money there.
What do you buy in duty free?
Sometimes I'll buy like a vodka or gin just to have at home, like a big thing of it.
Okay.
Because it is actually like a lot cheaper sometimes.
But do you drink enough vodka or gin to have a bottle of it at home? Or do you just want to have it?
I think I just want to have it. Okay. I think I'm bored and I want to go shopping.
Yes.
We were in Peru for New Year's and we're coming back. We had so much time to kill because getting to the airport of Peru was like kind of like we weren't sure if it was going to take forever or 20 minutes. And it ended up taking 20 minutes.
Sure.
And so I'm wandering around, buying crap, all sorts of stuff. But they had actually like a lot of cute clothes there. I got a bunch of sweaters at the airport.
Oh.
In Peru because everything's alpaca.
Yeah.
Wool.
Okay.
So they sell them and it's not like, tourist trappy kind of clothing.
Yeah, printed. It's like real authentic.
It's like an actual.
Yeah.
Let's get into algorithm showing. I want to talk about what's going on in your algorithm. What's the haps? What's the 411? What you've seen? What's wicked and wild on your feed?
I actually don't want to talk about my algorithm.
Okay.
I would like to talk about my neighbor, if we could.
Oh, Mélissa texted me over the weekend a little bit about this. Yeah. I got a text message that said, yo.
Was it a yo message?
It was a yo message.
I'm gonna go back.
And then it was a yo.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it was like you. Yeah.
So I have spoken about my neighbor before.
Yes.
And if not on the pod, then on my TikTok. Okay. And so really quick, I call him Ted. That is not his name. Ted used to be married to Lois. And Ted and Lois would fight all the time.
Oh no.
And you only ever heard Ted. You never heard Lois, right?
That's concerning.
Yeah. And then one day I heard him say to her, I come to you with solutions. You only come to me with problems. And then Lois had enough. Okay. And she said, fuck you, Ted.
You heard her say that?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing we heard her say.
Yes.
She had one line.
And she executed it beautifully.
And then she exited stage left.
And then a couple of days later, I saw her in the hall. And I was just like, hey, Lois, how are you? I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I was like, oh.
Oh, if you're telling the neighbors.
Yeah. So in my building, there's a package room. And I was going through looking for my package. And this is maybe several weeks later, maybe a couple months later. And I saw a package for Ted that said something like, it was from divorce.com. This dude they got a divorce. They got a divorce, right? And since then, I have seen a steady stream of women coming in and out of Ted's life, right?
Okay, Ted has game, it sounds like. Is Ted cute? He's got a steady stream of coming in and out of the building?
I don't think that Ted is cute. He's not hideously unattractive or anything. But what happens is every time Ted breaks up with somebody, the music starts.
The Barry Manilow.
Adele.
No!
Adele. And it's on repeat. No! He also plays quite a bit of Barbra Streisand and Barry Gibb.
Okay, I think I found the problem, and it's that he's gay.
He's not. I don't think he's gay at
all.
Adele. Journey.
Okay, he's straight.
Sticks.
Straight.
Barry Manilow.
Bi-curious.
Maybe.
Attending, tapping his foot in the bathroom stall at the airport.
And then it'll stop once he comes back to himself.
We always return to thyself. Know thyself.
And one time I was coming in, he was going out. There was a different woman at the door and he was leaving. And she said to him, okay, Ted, love you. And then I saw his face and he was like, love you too.
Mélissa, okay, now I have so many questions. Also, like...
Wait. And then 4th of July, you can see fireworks from the roof of our building. And after 4th of July, they were both there together. And then I never saw her again, right? There's a new one.
So wait, you got to stop. I can't process all of this. It's so insane. I'm also curious.
Why am I here? Why am I
You're
witnessing?
so involved.
Very involved. Well, because what I realized is Ted's bathroom butts up against my bathroom. And so the head of my bed butts up against, I guess, his living room or something.
Okay.
I can hear what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Right? So
this is apartment living in New York.
This is one of the reasons why I'm tired of apartment life. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to smell your fish. I don't want it. I don't want it. But anyway, I digress. Now there's another one, and they got into a fight this weekend.
What's her name?
Eleanor. He and Eleanor are getting into it. But I don't think she was there. I think she was on speakerphone because she sounded really tinny. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And they have fought before, and Eleanor ain't no Lois. Eleanor is not here for games. And she's just, and more than once, I have heard her say to him, I don't know what the fuck your problem is. Ted.
She is eating him up.
And then he was saying to her something like, you know, I had a horrible day. So now Andre's watching TV, and I said to him, lower the TV.
Lower the TV.
Lower the TV. And he's like...
Close the blinds, lower the TV.
And he's like, why? And I was like, Ted and Eleanor are getting into it. And he's like, Mélissa. And I was like, listen. And then he came over, and then we're both in the bathroom together, and we're listening to what's going on.
I'm just imagining you and Andre with a cup pressed against the wall.
I thought about getting a cup.
Get a cup.
Oh, and remember what I said to you? My neighbor can't keep a body. He cannot keep a woman.
He can't keep a body.
He cannot keep a body.
At a certain point, if you can't keep an employee.
And you were like, what? Roommates or girlfriends? And I'm like, girlfriends' wives. And Michael's like, are they leaving or is he kicking them out? And I was like, I don't know. And then so he said to her, you knew that I was having a bad fucking day. And she was like, you're always having a bad fucking day. And then I was like getting annoyed because I couldn't hear everything, right? And then I was like, all right, let me watch TV. And I'm like, no, I want to hear the rest of it. Cue Adele.
Did they break up?
I don't know. I don't know if they broke up, but he started playing Adele. And
oh my God. Now I'm worried what my neighbors are hearing me say and do.
I just want to talk about my neighbor.
Mélissa.
I don't know why he can't keep a body. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of people in my building who don't like him. He can be really aggressive.
They're all ex-girlfriends.
But he's been nothing but really nice to me. One day I was coming in, I had a bunch of bags, and he was like, oh, let me help you. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And I said, that was really sweet of you. He said to me, no one's called me sweet since my mother died. So Ted is clearly somebody only a mother can love.
Well, what's concerning to me is that clearly he is a little bit self-aware that he can't keep a body.
I don't know if he realizes that he can't keep a body. I don't know that people who can't keep bodies realize
that they're the problem.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like there's something about this, though. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of self-awareness there. No, all these divorces and ex-girlfriends.
I mean, I don't know if it's one divorce that I'm aware of, but there has been
cute?
At least...
He's cute. He's kind of cute. Not really. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. It's not my type. It's not my type of white guy, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, is he rich?
Maybe.
Does he own his apartment?
Yes, he does own his apartment. Okay. His apartment is beautiful.
I'd put up with that.
He has he's an audiophile. He has a really beautiful audio situation with like vinyl.
And it's just 100 Adele albums.
And Barbra Streisand.
Streisand, that is really funny. Well, I need to know like what happens.
I hope that I see Eleanor again. Eleanor loves Arthur Weasley.
I'm rooting for them to leave.
Right.
I'm rooting for the women to find joy.
I mean, he keeps on getting new ones.
I do think that there is, like you said, like there's always a man who drives you insane. I do think that there is also this compulsion that a lot of us have to fix a man, to see a problem and be like, oh, I got this. Mm-hmm. I can figure that out.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my 20s doing some of those guys.
I mean, I think that my last, before my husband, my last long-term boyfriend, I did think that I could help him. I don't know that I was like, I just need to love him more. Do you know what I mean? And like help him. And when I decided that I was done with him, and I was just like, universe, this is what I need. And that's what I got.
Take it away, and that's what you got.
That's what I got.
It's like in Practical Magic, where they sort of put together the perfect
sequel.
man.
Do you know that there's a sequel?
And I can't wait.
Really?
I am sad for the sequel.
Okay.
I am going to be really annoyed if the lighting's weird and if it feels like I'm in a video game. I like movies where it's framed and it doesn't look like a video game. Like, I can't watch Wicked. That will give me a stomachache. I can't go to an IMAX and watch the Willy Wonka movie. I'll like get vertigo. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I used to live in what was like a pre-war, very old school New York. Like, everyone was just like a weird New Yorker who'd been there forever.
Yes.
And we were like,
I remember this apartment.
We were there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was near your auntie's apartment. And we were there forever. We were there for years and years and years. And when you're in a building like that and it's small and everyone kind of knows each other, like, you're entering an ecosystem. They know your shit. They're going to all talk about you. And we had a wall where we could hear our neighbor too. And we had this crazy neighbor.
Was this the neighbor who was the flight attendant?
Yeah.
Okay. I love this. Go ahead.
We'll call him Chris.
Okay.
3 a.m. Chris always had, and you'd have to buzz to get into the building.
Yep.
There's always a really late night, Friday and Saturday night buzz from how do I say?
A gentleman caller?
A younger man of Latino descent. Potentially from the oldest profession.
Okay.
And
going out on dates.
And that is me throwing judgment on the situation. That is unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed. But you know what, though? Sex work is work.
Get it. Yes. Yeah. Sex work is real work. Like, get it. Like, live your truth. I really, like, truly no judgment there, but I, like, loved it. I was like,
no, because it's like spicy. I have a neighbor who I don't like, and he gets dates. They're very tall, very thin, sort of Russian looking.
Yeah.
And he is dumpy and old, and that's not,
And this street that I lived on, there was a lot of sex work activity on that street. There were like sex workers working the corner. Sure. And so, but
on the stroll, as they say.
On the stroll, And so these guys would show up and it would buzz, and like they'd buzz the wrong unit, and then I'd be letting them in. So I was like kind of involved.
You were involved.
I was involved.
You were a willing participant.
Let me tell you, and I'm so boring. I was home on a Saturday night letting in the Puerto Rican hookers. Like, that was my Saturday night. Was like, please write this way to Chris's apartment. Yes, he's upstairs. The walls, though, are thin. Even if they're not thin, you're just in close quarters.
I mean, the thing about living in an apartment building, you're basically living with 100 other people.
Yeah. It's cohabitation.
Yeah.
Without your consent.
Yeah, totally. You are held hostage. Yeah.
And so this one night, Chris was on a bender. Like, Chris was out. He was out in these streets. And he came home with this guy, and it's 3 a.m. and I really can't sleep. And I sleep with earplugs and a sound machine.
Okay.
Since college.
Okay.
Every night there are earplugs in, sound machine on. He was railing lines so loud, I could hear it. I could hear him railing a line through the earplug and the sound machine on high. That is a man.
That's a Hoover.
That is self-harm.
It is.
Like, you are not okay. Yeah. And he was like narrating it. He was like chopping up the next one. Like, he was like, ha, ha, ha. Like, and it was like, and it was all night. And so finally I went over, like, the sun is rising and he's still going crazy on this bender. And I knocked on the door and I was like, Chris, you got to keep it down. His pupils were outer space. Flying saucers. Yeah. Face bright red. Oh, sorry. Like, slurring like crazy, whatever. The next day I get up, he bought me like a nice bottle of Veuve, like expensive champagne.
That's my favorite.
And left it on my door handle with just like a little note that was like, sorry if I woke you up last night.
That's actually really classy, Chris.
Sorry if you woke me up, Chris. Honey, I didn't get to sleep. And you know what? He had so much coke in him, he was able to go out shopping, run errands the next day.
Yeah, he was still high.
Didn't sleep.
No.
Yeah.
He's probably still awake.
And I will say he was a man of a certain age. He wasn't like 19 or 20.
No.
doing that much blow.
I mean, he's been doing it since the 70s.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, this is...
him and Bianca Jagger. Like, at Studio 54.
I was like, you really are not at an age where you should be doing that much coke.
I mean, he's a little long in the tooth to be doing so much blow. Yeah.
Studio 54, Rocky Horror Picture Show is playing there.
Oh, I heard.
I went to opening.
Was it fun?
I went to the opening night. It was really fun.
Okay.
It was actually really fun.
Yeah.
And I loved the show. I'd never seen anything Rocky Horror.
You had never seen any of it?
Nothing. So this is actually mortifying. And please, if you've been waiting to read me in the comments, if you've been holding back, which I don't think any of you have, because you love eating me up, this is your opportunity because I'm such a dumb slut. I went up to Susan Sarandon. Okay. Yep. Pencils down, heads up. I went up to Susan Sarandon and I said, "Hi, Miss Sarandon. I just have to let you know," this is during intermission because we were like sitting down in the orchestra. "I just have to let you know, I'm such a huge fan. I love everything you've been in. Love your movies. My mom's a huge fan." I was so
nervous.
"Do you mind if I take a photo with you?" And we're chatting for a while. We're chatting about why I'm there, how I know people in the show, and like all that stuff. We have this adorable, cute conversation. We take a photo. Actually, she's a real baddie because she said, "Yes, I'll take a photo with you, but we got to find the good lighting." And y'all know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm like, "Oh, babe.
Yeah.
We can light your face with the glare off my bald head. Yeah. Like, let's get some good lighting." Yeah. I said, "This is what I'll do because consent is important." I held up my phone and I said, "Let's swivel. And when there's good lighting, you say go and I'll click the clicker."
Okay.
So we do this whole rigmarole. And I walk away and I go back to Brad, my husband, who knows everything and is not shy to tell me.
Okay.
And he says, "Oh, you were talking to Susan Sarandon." And I was like, "Yeah." And he says, "Did you compliment her on how she originated the role of Janet in Rocky Horror in the movie that the show is based on?" And I said, "She was in what now?" And he said, "Yeah, that's why she's here."
Stop talking.
Because she was in Rocky. She originated Janet in the movie.
I hate you. I hate you and everything you. I hate you and everything you stand for.
I was so mortified. You hate me like a cruise ship. Take him out to sea and sink him.
Wow.
It was one of my most mortifying moments because we talked for a while.
But you didn't. I mean, okay. So while I'm horrified that you just didn't know this piece of pop culture that I feel like you should have known. And I feel like this makes you a bad gay man.
Chris, the next door neighbor, would have absolutely not put up with this. He definitely knew.
But I mean, it's not like you said anything to her.
So I'm going to stop you right there. And I appreciate you being really gracious with me.
Okay.
I don't deserve it. Because throughout the entire conversation, she was kind of looking at me like, I'm an empath. She was kind of looking at me like, are you going to say it? Are you going to say the thing everything's been saying to me here? You know, she was kind of looking at me like, you know, when someone's kind of waiting for you to say something, you're at the altar and you say, I do. And then you're kind of waiting for the next. She was waiing for me to say something. And I was like, I wonder what she's waiting for me to say. You know, like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I wonder if, Is she friends with the lighting designer?
Is she a part of this production?
No. And that's where I'm also mortified because every like photo that was taken all over social media in the post was Susan Sarandon attends the show based off the movie she was in. So like everyone was there talking to her and it was reported on because she was there because of the movie.
Gotcha.
And you did not seen the movie.
Okay. I used to go to a Rocky Horror Picture Show all the time.
Mélissa.
And like would be in the audience. So in the show, are they doing the call and response?
So there's been a lot of controversy around this because they're very famous actors in the show. People are paying like $500 a ticket to go see them do the jump to the left dance.
Yeah.
And you really are paying premium price to see these very, very famous people do the show, not the guy from Jersey sitting next to you who couldn't get a ticket to Lion King.
Yeah.
You know?
To Cats.
We could see Boop. And so there's been a lot of Rocky Horror purists have been upset that people aren't allowed to dance or do the callbacks. I was there opening night. So there were some callbacks and it was very like tongue in cheek, very cutesy. But it wasn't disruptive. There were some people would yell out, I would say maybe 5 times during the show, and the show just kept moving.
Okay.
And the actors knew what to do.
Yes.
And we got to see everyone do their incredible performance.
Yes.
Like really, it's such a star-studded cast.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Because I feel like that's like the whole thing. I've never seen the movie without that.
Without people kicking in the aisles. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they do these like midnight showings and Yeah. No one was really doing that. I will say they do pull up a couple people on stage at some point.
Okay.
I think hopefully to scratch that itch.
Okay.
And when they did it during opening night, they pulled Eric Botcher on stage, our former guest.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Eric.
Former guest of the pod. Show. Yeah, friend of the pod.
Mm-hmm. What did he refer to himself as? A twuz.
A twuz.
A twuz, not a twink. He's a twuz.
The world's oldest twink.
Yes.
Yeah. The demon twink that was running against him.
Yeah.
And they made him do the dance.
Did he do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on.
During COVID, I had this neighbor downstairs.
Okay.
Who got what I call his COVID boo. And you would hear them.
Knocking boots.
The COVID boo was enthusiastic, encouraging, and loved Jesus.
I'm at a loss for words.
And at first, it was like funny.
She's invoking the rosary.
And then at the end, I was like, I'm going to set him on fire.
Yeah, because you're
shut the fuck up.
Working from home.
I was working from home. I thought the world was ending.
I don't need to hear you have a nooner. I'm in the middle of a Zoom call. We've got to look at the Q3 reports. We've got to circle back on my Q4 roadmap.
Yeah, watching my CEO cry. That was great.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Let's move on. Let's go into Under Oath. I've got some crazy stuff I want to talk to you about. We didn't actually get a chance to cover Bari Weiss, CBS, the CECOT, censorship, journalism in America, the Star-Spangled Banner. We didn't get a chance to cover it. So I thought we could get into it today because I have CECOT tea that people have reached out to me about on the internet. I've made a bunch of videos about this.
Okay.
So a couple months ago, there was an Inside CECOT segment on CBS. And it was supposed to air on 60 Minutes in December. So this was like 6 months ago. The correspondent was Sharon Alfonsi. And the segment featured interviews with former detainees at this prison, CECOT, CECOT is the prison. This prison is in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And
it's notorious.
Infamous for human rights violations.
Correct.
Basically what's happening right now, and I deal with this a lot in immigration court with asylees who are seeking asylum in the U.S. from El Salvador, is in El Salvador, there's what's called the state of exception. And a couple years ago, the president, Bukele, decided there's so much gang activity in El Salvador, which is true, and this is very controversial. You can talk to a Salvadoran who will say it was great. Another will say it was awful. Bukele said, we're going to suspend the Constitution, which is like terrifying to think about as an American.
Yes, it is.
We're just going to pause it and we're just going to start detaining these gangs because there was a lot of gang violence in El Salvador.
I'm just curious, right? Now that he's rounded up all these people who were allegedly in gangs, did the gang activity in El Salvador diminish at all?
A lot of gang members were detained.
Okay.
Yeah. However, they were detained without any due process. There was no court date. There were no trials. There was no actual checks and balances. New York Times did a really interesting podcast about this where they interviewed people who were in El Salvador who had sons and nephews detained who were not affiliated with gangs. And they were still grateful for the state of exception.
Okay.
Even though their sons and nephews had been detained because it was just so much safer now. Because you catch a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's no way to ensure the actual criminals are being captured compared to an innocent person.
Correct. I was going to say, when you do these sweeps, innocent people are going to get caught up in it for sure.
Right. And when that's why we have checks and balances. That's why we have a judiciary to make sure, we sort of separate people who have actually committed crimes and should be prosecuted and people who are completely innocent and just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Gotcha.
And it's not like America nails it.
No.
Yeah. So Anyway, and we'll get to the CBS story in a second, but basically Bukele decided to suspend the state of exception went into effect, suspended the Constitution. A lot of people were detained in these prisons that it's very difficult to sort of describe to a first world citizen, an American, what it's actually like in these detention centers. So there are cells so small you can't lie down. You're no access to food, water, toilets. Overcrowding is like not even a powerful enough word to describe what's happening. Rival gangs are housed in the same space together, which is very dangerous. Many gang members are readily identifiable by their tattoos. They have tattoos on their faces. They're branded by their gangs. And this is not like, I don't want this to get picked up by a news outlet of like Michael Foote stands by gang membership in El Salvador. But I want to just explain that I have had some clients who were members of gangs, not by choice. That a lot of times gang members, or sometimes gang members, are victims of circumstance. They have no money. There's no functioning government. There's no food, water, resources. A guy shows up and says, join my gang, work for my gang, and I will give you enough money so that your mother has food and medicine.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
These are choices that we as New Yorkers very rarely are faced with, these sort of life and death choices.
Right.
So it's very easy for us to pass judgment on a situation that we just probably will never encounter.
Correct.
Yeah. So people are detained in these detention centers, and the conditions really are truly a death sentence many times. There were mass graves discovered behind this detention center. Yeah. Injuries are not being reported. People aren't getting access to blood pressure medication and just like stroking out and dying. Right. So just really horrific conditions. So with that in mind, the U.S. capitulates in many ways with CECOT and the El Salvadoran government.
Didn't Christy Nome go there for like a photo shoot?
Yes. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Yes.
She did.
Yeah. And so after she shot her dog, she went there.
Right.
And that's not a joke. It's an actual fucking fact. So they had these photo shoots and the U.S. capitulates, and they have. I'm not going to, I'm not going to let anyone off the hook here. This has been multiple administrations have allowed this to happen. If you're Salvadoran in America and you commit a crime, it can be a very small crime, and you're marked as a deportee back to Salvador. They will inform the government, hey, there's someone who's a criminal coming back.
And they're coming back.
They will meet them at the airport and immediately detain them. So the U.S. government is like, check, yes, we are effectively buying into this. And every human rights organization and the UN have spoken out about this.
Yeah.
So CBS was a longtime stalwart of American journalism.
Yes.
They were...
Especially 60 Minutes.
Yeah. They were neutral fact finders. 60 Minutes, we're just going to report on this, on what's happening. It is not, polarized opinion. It's very similar to our show.
Exactly. Just like us. The same rigid standards.
3 hours before air, CBS News announced it was pulling the segment, which was detailing CECOT, the conditions, how people are deported there, and the government's sort of involvement. And correspondent Sharon Alfonsi accused editor-in-chief Bari Weiss of pulling it for political reasons. Weiss claimed it wasn't ready for air. Right. So it was very splashy, made a lot of headlines, but I also think a lot of people missed this. So the timing of this was very suspicious.
Yeah.
Trump recently attacked 60 Minutes at the time that they pulled the segment.
Okay.
So it was right before that. And this was, it's still happening, but this was at a time when he was really going after the networks. Do you remember this? And they were all threatening to slap them with fines, and they were all looking to save millions. And so they were all bending the knee. And many of them said they weren't going to do like really negative coverage. He was also filing lawsuits against them. Yeah. So Bari Weiss denied political motives. Critics accused CBS leadership of censorship and anticipatory obedience with the Trump administration.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It really, really is. We're in a bad place, guys.
I saw the play 1984, not to talk about all my live theater experiences at once, but I keep thinking about 1984, right? Like access to neutral facts is scarcer and scarcer.
Yep.
people are getting information about our government from international sources. People are going to the BBC to find out what's happening here.
Yeah.
People are going to The Guardian to figure out what's happening in the US. I get comments on my videos all the time. Oh, they're reporting on this totally different in Canada.
Not surprising.
Scary.
Really scary. But not surprising. Not surprising at all.
You were telling me when we were talking about Russia years ago and the war in Ukraine, and you were telling me
that there was this young man who was Russian but living in the Ukraine, and when the war in the Ukraine between Russia and the Ukraine started, he said that he was really surprised that his father, who was in Russia, had not reached out to see how he was doing. And then he reached out to his father and was like, why are you, I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard from you. And he was just like, but why? Why?
About what?
About what?
Right.
And that just goes to show you, like, if a government decides that they don't want you to know about what's going on, they can set it up so that you don't know.
I think that's happening with Iran in many ways.
Yeah.
Like I saw over the weekend, there was an article, the Times was reporting on all the buildings that Iran media says they blew up, American military sites. And the US government was like, no, everyone's fine. Yeah. Nothing bad's happening.
Nothing to see here.
Obviously, Iran is incentivized to say that they've done much more damage than they actually did, is what sort of the US government was saying. The Times, incredible reporting, cross-referenced with international satellites, not American satellites. They looked at global satellite footage of all these sites and compared it to what Iran was saying happened. And it was true. Yeah. It was accurate.
Right.
Compared to the information the American government was sharing.
And the problem with that, I mean, there are many problems with that. But if we are not able to trust what journalists in the United States are saying, how are you to make an informed decision when you're at the polls?
Truly.
Right? Because that's where we're hearing a lot of stuff, right? Is through the news, going on the internet and hopefully accessing real news, not, Bob down the block, his fucking website. But how are people going to make decisions if the information that we're getting is basically fairy tales?
I don't know. Yeah. And it's like truly the misinformation campaigns
is tremendous.
And the way that people still consume media and consume stories and trust it. I don't want to, again, like I'm thinking about what AI bot is going to pick up this audio file and say, immigration lawyer Michael Foote says, don't trust information. Like literally that's happened on some of my TikToks. It's like a fucking web crawler picks it up and then they report on what I said and they never called me for a quote. They're like quoting the video and it's like written by a robot. But the way people consume media, it is trust and then later, if it's debunked, question. Right. And I do think there has to be the shift to we kind of really do need to question what we're being told.
I mean, I think especially when you think about, again, going back to CBS, this idea that since Bari Weiss has taken over, it does feel a little bit like, I don't know that I want to watch CBS the way that I used to watch CBS.
And this is why there were so many, like Molly Jong-Fast is an incredible journalist. She and many journalists were freaking out about this happening at CBS, them pulling this 60 Minutes. Because CBS was one of the last few remaining neutral reporters, everyone else has fallen to this polarized opinion
going one way or another, right?
Yeah, reporting. And so they were, weeks later, CBS aired the segment with only minor additions referencing government responses. So they eventually aired the whole thing, but after this whole drama. So it was originally set to air during this time when there was going to be a ton of viewerships because of the NFL game. And then they waited 3 weeks and aired it during a competing game on a different network to basically effectively bury it.
And they didn't renew the contract of the reporter. I saw
They didn't renew it. Yeah.
They didn't renew it. So
she's basically fired. Yeah. That's a shorthand way of saying.
Again, so what are we to do? Right. So a reporter who tried really hard to do really good work, detailed work, put all her energy into it, trying to report the facts. And she did that, which is what we want reporters to do, right?
Yeah.
And now she's out of a job.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bari Weiss, what the hell? I mean, she will go down in history as the American censor.
I know, but she doesn't care.
She's minted. She's got her golden parachute.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
A government can censor journalists in like very specific instances. And you have to go into an emergency hearing in front of a judge. And as prior restraints, you basically have to argue that the government would have to argue that this would jeopardize national security in some way that is imminent. Like there's an actual operation happening and the soldiers will be at risk if this goes to air.
Right.
Which is not the situation
whatsoever.
This
is not this at all.
Yeah.
Right.
This was just going to cause outrage about Trump's immigration policy, which it should.
It should.
Yeah.
But that's not Bari Weiss's agenda.
What is her agenda? I mean, my God, that's
everything that I've read about her, they keep on calling her MAGA coded, right? So that's her agenda. That's her agenda. Her agenda is to support this particular president, as opposed to being an actual good news person, right? Her agenda is to support this particular president because for whatever reason, she either agrees with him or whatever. Yeah. And that's the problem is not that, listen, there are many people who think the president has the right idea, right? And that's fine. You're entitled to do that. However, that should not stop you from doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. So if you're a doctor who is a sort of MAGA coded as well and thinks that abortion is murder, but you've got somebody in front of you who is going to die if she doesn't get one. Yes. Your obligation is to take care of that person, to do no harm.
Choose humanity.
To do no harm. And that is not what's happening. I mean, and I don't like saying this and I don't like feeling this way. This feeling of like, we are fucked.
I'm not there yet, but I might be next week. You never know.
I'm there right now.
Let me put it this way. I feel like legacy media is dying in many ways. It has been. This
slowly.
This might be the death rattle. We don't know. I do see some hope for, I hate saying this, but like the next generation, but also independent media. Like there are some people that I follow where I'm like, I really fucking trust this guy. Or this person, I like did the research or I now have, through the internet, have access to this person who's a literal expert who does this every day. And I've talked a bit about how like I'm a little bit more ethical or I do more research on my videos before I post them because I'm like, 30% of Gen Z gets their news from people like me on TikTok. Right.
And and again, it's a platform that you have. You've got a really good following. You want to do your best, right? It's different if you're sort of goofing around or whatever, but you are trying to provide people with real information so that they can then take that information and hopefully do something good with it, right?
And at first I was like, there's no like checks and balances keeping me, making sure that I'm doing things the right way. But then I was like, there's none for legacy media either.
Right. And it's also, you should be your own checks and balances, right?
Honestly, my fans and people that follow me are my checks and balances. Sure. They clock me all the time and they're like, you're wrong on that. And I'm like, cool, issue correction. Or they're correcting me in the comments and like people have access to that. Like I do sort of love that. Anyway, so this story was horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see more of this.
You think Bari Weiss is going to get ousted? Do you think she'll get got?
Not yet.
No, because I feel like probably the board is all
right. I mean, but you know what though? Actually, let me take that back. CBS is getting trounced in terms of ratings now.
They are,
right?
Yeah.
People who used to watch the evening news, the CBS, they're not anymore.
Wow.
I mean, I think people like seeing Tony DeCoppel in the morning, but they don't trust him as much in the evening for whatever reason.
That's so crazy.
But it happens all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you see somebody, I'd rather see you sort of do morning TV. And for some reason, when you're in the evening.
It's like fluffier. It's like less hard news. Yeah. I stopped watching Survivor.
Because?
It's on CBS.
Oh, I never watched Survivor.
Also, I didn't really feel like watching this season.
Okay. I couldn't tell you anything about Survivor.
Let's take a break. We'll come right back with all your burning questions from the DMs.
Sure.
This is Tales from the DMs. These are all the questions that you send us to our show. You could send us a question at briefrecess@exactlyrightmedia.com.
And friends, what do I always say? Michael is a lawyer, but he's not your lawyer. So shop around.
Shop around.
Shop around.
Someone said you have jaundice.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I responded to her.
What did you say?
I said that I didn't.
You don't have jaundice.
I don't have jaundice.
It's like this red dot on my head.
Mm-hmm.
People
they were very concerned.
That you have jaundice?
Yes, very concerned.
I mean, that's kind of nice.
I guess. Or, I
don't think you look like you have jaundice.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I will say I've never clocked someone's jaundice before. I've never been at the club and been like, that's jaundice.
You should see somebody.
I've never done that. I did read something, actually. This is so funny.
Okay.
This reminds me of the weirdest thing. This girl was talking about how she worked at Hooters. Mm-hmm. And these guys were like, the guys who come to Hooters are creeps. But this guy came up and he was like, hey, you don't have to go to me, but I'm a dermatologist. Mm-hmm. And there's a mole on your left boobie.
Okay.
You should go get it checked out.
Did she?
And she did, and it was cancer.
Oh, wow. See?
And so he was like, I know, don't have to come to me. I'm not trying to get you alone. I'm not going to give you my card.
Okay.
But just go get that looked at.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you never know.
You never know. I can't remember. There was a show on HGTV.
Yeah.
His name is Tark, and he used to be married to this woman, Christina. Anyway, he was on his show, and there was a nurse watching, and she noticed something in his neck. And she said basically exactly that. Listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think you should really go get this checked out. And he had cancer. He's better now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some crazy reviews to read.
Are we gonna read the ones where people are upset with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
There was one that I thought was really funny. He's never gonna let her forget.
That time you kicked someone on the subway. I'm never gonna let you forget.
I know, it's fine.
Because it's something I would do, and you finally did it. So it's the only thing I can lord over you. He will never forget the boot subway emoji. So a boot subway emoji. Oh, this person said, not the Debbie Reynolds told you so dance.
No, I told you so. I told you so. I told you
Josie said, Debbie Reynolds. Puma8653 said, smiled so big, trying not to belly laugh out loud on my morning commuter train. During your algorithm is showing that my AirPods fell out. Okay. When that happens, that
Be
sucks.
Careful.
Be careful.
Be careful. They're expensive.
Killing it with the interviews lately. Afroman, Emily Almanza, Timar. Love hanging out with you two on my way to work. Oh,
thank you. I love that too.
I love those interviews too. Afroman was wild. We actually didn't tell people BTS getting Afroman interview. What y'all didn't see, and I did record a TikTok, maybe I'll post this, was the six of us in the studio trying to get that man on a Zoom link that we could record was wild. And I've never seen so many people scurrying.
Yeah.
It was a scurry.
It was like a flurry of activity.
And I get like little updates from CJ in my ear of so Afroman is pulled over on the side of the road. He can't access the Zoom link. He doesn't have a Zoom account. So we are trying to get him registered with Zoom right now. If you could just hold for a minute. I'm like,
but it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out great.
Yeah.
But he talked about Jesus a lot.
But he's not religious.
This was hysterical.
That was
me.
the best part of it, though. Like, I'm not religious at all, but Jesus wept. Here's one that I Nightcrawler is on Instagram. My God, you never let her talk. Like, we want to know more about the incident. Sis Unicorn says, yes, unfollowed him and following her instead. Jay Jonesum says, same, like, shut up, dude. Tell us your little Ursula story once she's told hers. And I said to all of them, thank you. You guys are the best. He can't help himself.
You jumped in too?
It was about me.
On my turncoat, my own friend.
I'm not a turncoat. I said
the back.
I said he can't help it.
Et tu, Brutus.
Oui.
I love when people eat me up in the comments because I think people think that You
think that people think what?
That I'm watching my videos and I admire them. I'm also eating me up. Like, I'm also like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm also like, you are cutting her off, Michael. Stop doing it. And it's because I'm so excited to talk to you. So
I know.
People come to the comments to read me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there too.
Yeah.
The call is coming from inside the house.
It is. I mean, I think the other thing that people couldn't possibly know is that when you and I are alone and we're talking about stuff, we can never get to the end of anything.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, it'll be like, oh, wait, let me circle back around and tell you this other thing.
Yes.
Right. We're pretty chaotic in that way.
I don't think either of us have ever told each other a full story.
Not in one sitting.
Ever.
No.
And it's usually I call you after to be like, oh, I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah.
This
by the way, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worse. It's worse when Alyssa's involved.
Well, because we're drunk.
Well, you know what I think? The other day we were on this chat with another friend of ours. And then it was Alyssa's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like, wait, you guys are all Tauruses? I was like, yes. And that's why it's chaos all the time.
Remember when I think you got kind of drunk with Alyssa that one night. Do you remember that?
It takes me like
It takes you two sips to get drunk.
Of wine.
But I remember being like, Melissa is drunk. She is acting
what was
different.
I saying? Was I acting crazy?
You get even more opinionated. Like our responses to any stimuli, question is like an opinion of a 7.
Yes.
You were an opinion of a 10. It was like, rather than like, it was like, it was like everything is just amplified. Melissa in HD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a good time though.
It is really fun.
It's a good time, yeah.
I took you to Boxers once. You and Alyssa, I took you to Boxers.
Yes. And I am still convinced that in the 90s, Boxers was another club.
I'm sure it was.
But like the same kind of club.
You guys don't understand. The whole time we were at Boxers, a gay bar with shirtless men, Melissa's like, this used to be a different bar. I can't remember the name. For 2 hours. I don't remember the name.
I was Googling it.
Yeah.
I was Googling it. I texted an old friend of mine.
Bronzed, lubed up, bouncing pecs surrounding her. And she's Googling what this establishment used to be in the 90s.
Because I knew it used to be something.
Everything was something else in the 90s.
Well, for sure. But I just thought it was interesting, Michael, that it was a gay bar today and it was like the same gay bar last time in the 90s.
A man with big bouncing double Ds was doing pull-ups on a bar right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you were like, I think this used to be a TJ Maxx. This has been Brief Recess. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Follow me home.
Don't follow me home. No.
You know I love attention. We'll see you next week right here.
Not all attention is good attention, Michael.
iHeart, Exactly Right Media. And I'll see you in court.
Not me.
Because I'm suing you for stalking me.